All right. Good evening, everybody. Good evening, and welcome to this question and answer session. And my name is Charles Harper, and we are going to get into some internet marketing today. And if you have any questions, if you got the email or if you didn't get my email, this is going to be a brief call, but you are allowed to ask anything that you think that I can help you with. And I will do the best I can, not only to answer it. If I don't have the answer, I'll go get the answer and I will share it with everyone. And so what I would encourage you to do is, if you have questions of any kind about something that you've been trying to do in your internet marketing, maybe you've been trying to do something with the Genius suite of software, maybe you've been trying to do something with PLR, maybe you've been trying to do something in your business and you have struggled. And if that's you, you can go ahead and write your question in there. I'm going to ask you a question. How many of you, and I want you to put the number 1 in the question box, if this is you, you'd like to be able to launch your first product. And again, when I ask you this, just know I'm not trying to set you up to buy anything. So I really want you to be honest with this question. How many of you, you want to launch your first product, but either you don't know where to start or something gets in your way? So that's you. I want you to put the number 1 in the question box. Either you don't know where to start or something gets in your way. Number 2, you don't know if you want to launch a product. You just know you want to make more money online. So if you have something that you don't really know exactly what it is that you want to get into, you don't really even know if that's what you want to do. So that's you. Put the number 2 in the question box. You have no idea what it is you want to do. You know you want to make more money online. You don't necessarily know what market, you don't necessarily know what niche, but you just want to get started. Please put the number 2 in the question box. So number 1, you know you want to launch a product, but you don't know if you don't really know where to start. Okay, so probably I'm going to guess that most of you are at number 1 if you're any place. Okay, and some of you all are actually at number 2. All right, very good. Now, for those of you who are at number 1, right? For those of you who are at number 1, you want to launch a product, but either you don't know where to start or something has gotten in your way. What I like for you to do is for you to take one question and then put it in the box of something that has stopped you. Now, if you want to type that to me in private, please do that. So if you want it to be private between you and I, put it in the box, and I'd still like to use it here in the call in order to help everyone. So everyone who says, man, I want to launch something, I don't know where to start, I want you to put in your number 1 roadblock right now. Write that right in the box here, and then we're gonna work with that one of those questions. Now, if you're number 2, right? If you're number 2, what I like for you to write in there is, I want you to write in the thing in internet marketing that you understand the best, right? Maybe you bought an information product. Maybe you went to a webinar and you went there and you said, I understand this and I know I want to make money. So I understand how to do this part of it. Please, if that's number 2, I want you to write a question in there. Okay, so let's see. I've got Sylvia here, and Sylvia wants to know how to build a website for Genius Trainer Pro. Excellent question. And why don't we start there? I do have a couple of questions here. I'm going to go to my slides here. I'm going to start the slide presentation. Okay, all right, very good. So Sylvia wants to know how to build the website for Genius Trainer Pro. Okay, and that's actually a great question. Now, one of the things that you're going to want to do, and let me try to explain this from a different kind of perspective here, Sylvia. One of the things that Genius Trainer Pro is really designed to do is it's designed for you to be able let's see, I need to be able to see my screen down here. Okay, how many of you all can see my screen? I just lost my, there we go. All right, sorry about that. And let me come back here. Okay, so Sylvia wants to know how to build a website for Genius Trainer Pro. So Sylvia, really and truly, Genius Trainer Pro is designed to be your website. So let's say that, Sylvia, what you want to do is you want to sell a course. You want to sell people something that shows them how to do something that you know how to do. What you're trying to do with Genius Trainer Pro is you're trying to set up a course that will allow them to come to Genius Trainer Pro to take that course so that they can then learn from you, and then if they like it enough, they can buy another course, right? So the first thing is, it really does eliminate the need. It does eliminate the need for you to have to to set up a website. I'm going to go inside of Genius Trainer Pro right now. We'll go inside Genius Trainer Pro, and I'm going to pull this over. And this is just a dummy account right now, right? It's just a dummy account. Okay, right, yeah. So Sylvia, it's really designed for you, as Mel said, it's like having your own Udemy site. And so how many of you all have heard of the site Udemy? Udemy. Mel mentioned Udemy. How many of you all know the site Udemy? Okay, yeah, and the answer to your question, Sylvia, is no. You don't need to have a business license to set up a course on Genius Trainer Pro and sell it. Okay, you do need to pay taxes on anything that you make in terms of income, right? So if you sell a course, you have to report it as income, and you do have to pay taxes on it. But you do not have to have a business license in order to sell a course on something that you know how to do. Yeah, it is very cool. So, and one thing that I do want to say here, and I want to say this to everyone who's on this call, is please do not feel like every course has to be how to teach somebody how to make $1 million. And I have said that, and I said that over and over again, because there are people who will pay for any pain to go away in various areas, right? There are people who will pay for pain to go away. How many of you all know, I was listening to a radio show today. I'll give you an example. And the show was on the station that I listened to called Business Radio, right? And this particular show was talking about how to better manage your career. And it was a call-in radio show. And would you all believe this, right? There were only 2 call-ins for the time I was listening to it, for 20 minutes. And if you had to guess, right, if you had to guess, what do you think the age range was of the people who were calling in the show to manage their career, right? What do you, if you just had to guess about that, write in what you think the age might have been. There were 2 callers, and 2 of those callers had questions about how to manage their career, how to get a job, how to fix their resume. If you had a guess as to what their age was, I want you to write that there in the box. One woman wanted to know, how can I get my resume for people to see it? And another person wanted to know, okay, should I finish my degree and then start with my resume? Okay, so Scott says 18 to 30, Gerald says 60, Sylvia says 20-ish, right? Okay, so I'm going to reveal, I'm going to take away the suspense right now. So one of the callers was 63, right? One of the callers was 63. The other caller was 54. Now, here's why I'm telling you this. because these were people who called in a radio show because they want help, right? They want help. And these are people who, if they were willing to put themselves out there like that, they want help. So here's my point by telling you this. You don't have to tell them how to build a Facebook page, right? Do you think they probably would not pay you to show them how to build a Facebook page? But if you could show them how to create a resume, if you've been out of the workforce and you're ready to get a job and you're 60, if you could help them, do you think they'd pay you for it? Absolutely, they'd pay you for it. And so my point is the same thing that I've been talking about in the Product Creation Challenge. You have to find the pain point, right? So once you understand the pain points of people who are having real problems, and you know how to solve those pain points, that is what you create your course about and put it in Genius Trainer Pro. Genius Trainer Pro is a vehicle, right? But the magic comes and the magic happens when you show people something that they can't get anyplace else, right? So that was kind of parenthetical. And I really want to say that to you. Those of you who kind of maybe you don't know where to start. You're wondering, okay, how am I, what niche am I going to be in? I'm going to talk about that if there's time. Okay, so now, Sylvia, so I hope that my first answer helped you. So in other words, Genius Trainer Pro is really designed to be your website. You don't have to have a website to do Genius Trainer Pro. So you want to get into Genius Trainer Pro, and I'm going to tell everyone here that I've done training on each platform, and you can find that training on youtube.com/gain-mindshare. Each of the platforms I've done training on, and you can actually access that training on my YouTube channel. All right, now, okay, so now, okay, so Wayne wants to know, okay, so how do I connect my website to GMP and GTP and add in my buy button? Okay, that's a great question. Okay, so now let's say that what we're going to do is we're going to send people to a buy page, right? And let's say that let's start with how we're going to attract people to our site. And I'm going to go to my site. I'm going to go to my GainMindshare.com site. It's kind of under construction, but it is. My GainMindshare.com site is a WordPress blog. And so let's say that one of the ways I'm going to attract someone to my offer is I'm going to write a blog post. So let's say I'm going to write a blog post, and I'm going to write the blog post about, okay, how to find your ideal customer, right? And so I'm going to write this blog post out. Now you can use any site to do this, right? But I'm going to use my WordPress site, how to find my ideal customer. Now, at the end of that blog post, I'm going to have a link in there. Right? I know you all can't see that. I'll try to size this up some. And it's not necessarily all that important that you see what I write in there. And let me share my screen with you here. Okay, so I'm going to write that into my blog post, right? How to find my ideal customer. And I'm going to have a link in there. Now, the link, once they finish reading my blog post, right, what should my link be to? My link should be to what? Where should I be? Once they read my blog post, they like what I have to say, what should my link be to? So anybody can answer. Where should I send them to? What should I tell them? Okay, if you like what you've heard, if you want to have more help on this, you should do what? You should click here and exactly. So I should send them to my sales page. So that sales page is the connection to GMP. So where that comes is I should then have, right, my offer. So I should have inside of Genius Marketing Pro, right? I should have my offer set up, right, on my sales page. Oh, my RoboForm. Oh, yeah. I got to type in my passwords. Sorry, guys. All right, so I'm going to have my sales page that I created. I'm going to go in here into Genius Trainer Pro, Marketing Pro. I'm going to create my sales page, right? So let's say I created my page and I have a sales page, right? And that sales page is going to be in here, and they're going to come to this sales page, and let's go to it. Okay, so this is my sales page that I created in Genius Marketing Pro, right? I created that sales page in Genius Marketing Pro. Now what I'm going to have people do is I'm going to have them to click that link and then to buy my offer, right? Buy my offer. So when they buy my offer, right, where am I going to send them to? Well, that's the question then, right? I can send them to wherever it is they're going to get their course. Now, how can I give them the course? So anybody can answer. So if I want to give them, they bought this, they've paid me now, how will I now deliver the information to them? What form will they get it in? Right? One way I can do that is I can send them to a course that I created in Genius Trainer Pro. Exactly. Right? So I can then send them to a course that I created in Genius Trainer Pro. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to give them a course, and it's going to be with a free coupon that I created. Exactly. So I'm going to give them a free coupon in order to get access to my course. But even then, it's not necessarily free because they've already paid me when I sent them to my sales page. And how did I send them to my sales page? Well, I wrote a blog post, and then I told them, I pre-sold them in my blog post. I told them about the benefits of how to do what I'm about to teach them. And then I took my blog post, I shared it on social media. I put my blog post on Facebook. I put it on Twitter. I put it on LinkedIn. I taught them something in my blog post, and I say, if you want to find out more, click my link. It takes them to my sales page. They buy my offer, and then on the thank you page, they get access to my course where I create a coupon for them that's free to get them into Genius Trainer Pro. Okay, so that's the simple way to connect the three. All right, so great question there, Wayne. All right, so let me go back here. And, okay, so Ty is asking how to set up GTP as a membership site to offer consulting services. Wow, that's a great question. Okay, so how do we set up GTP as a membership site to offer consulting services? Okay, fantastic. Okay, here is how I would do it. Okay, now, because your consulting services are going to be individual, right? Let's say that your consulting services are going to be individual services. What I would do is I would create a course. I would create an individual course. Let me go back out to the front. And let me go inside Genius Trainer Pro. Okay, I would create an individual course for each of my consulting clients. Right now, I would have my consulting clients buy from my sales page. And then I would set up an individual course for them in Genius Trainer Pro that only they're going to have access to as a student. I would do it the exact same way. And so I would put the resources that I'm going to give to them. I would have the audios I was going to give to them, but I would only have one student in that course. Now, let's say that I want to have one course, but I want to give it to several of my consulting clients. Well, what I would do is I would create the course, right? I would create the course, and then I would give, I would either give that course to them in a share code, or I would just use the same resources, right? I would use the same resources to create their course, right? Because all the resources you're already going to have uploaded into GTP. So what you want to do is, I think, if you're going to have consulting clients, you want to create individual courses, right, or individual resources for each person. And so you create one course for one consulting client, right? That's how I would do it. Okay, so Ty, if that makes sense to you, please put the number 2 in the question box. Okay, and so I'm going to kind of move on here. Okay, so that was Ty's question. And let me see. Okay, so how do I create a funnel to GMP, a free webinar from Webinar Fusion Pro to a survey to a paid membership in Genius Trainer Pro? Great question. Okay, so let's go inside of Webinar Fusion Pro for a second here. I think I might even have Webinar Fusion Pro open. All right. Okay, so I'm going to go inside of Webinar Fusion Pro and I'm going to create a webinar. Right now, one of the best ways to do this, actually, Ty, is what I would do is I would record a live webinar, right? I would get a live webinar that's really working, and then I would convert that webinar into a recorded webinar. Right now, once I had an automated webinar, right? Once I had an automated webinar, all I would be doing inside of that webinar is deciding on when I'm going to show them the offer, right? And that's probably going to be the most important aspect of this, of doing. I'm going to find a webinar that I did here. Let's take this one. And let's say I turn this into recorded webinar. Now, the most important aspect of this is going to be your offer, right? So I'm going to time that offer to show them so that the webinar, so that the offer shows up at the point in the sales presentation when I want it to. Right? Okay, so if you're trying to do group consulting in GTP, okay, so that works. So you want to create a course in Genius Trainer Pro. You're going to actually sell them in an automated webinar, right? And you're going to have your offer, right? Your offer can be, right? Your offer can be when they click the offer button, your offer can actually be the buy link inside of Genius Trainer in Genius Marketing Pro. So in other words, instead of sending them to a sales page, if you already made the sale in the webinar, then I might not send them to a sales page. What I might do is, let's go to one of my products. And what I might do is I might, okay, so that's that one. Let me grab a link here. Let's grab a link here. Let's see, that one's not set up. I want to find one that's already set up so I can make this easy for you. Let me see if I can find a link. Okay, here's my link. So I can take this link, right? And so I would actually take this link and I would put that link inside of here so that when they click the button, they're being taken to the sales, they're being taken to the checkout screen, right? So if I made the sale in the webinar, so the webinar is going to be the sales presentation. I might not want to send them to a sales presentation, right? If I use a webinar and make a pitch, I can just put in the button URL, when they click the button, when the offer comes down, to just go straight to buy. Now you need to test that. If you're finding that people are clicking that buy button and they're going to that link, then you might find that they're not converting. And so if that's the case, then you're going to have to take a step back and then you're going to have to send them to a sales page where you're making the presentation. Right? Okay, so hopefully that'll make sense to you, Ty. So you can actually put the link to your buy process inside of Webinar Fusion Pro, which you can actually run automated, right? You can run an automated webinar to that point. Right? Great question. All right, now Dane has a question. Okay, so Dane's question is, can I set up a YouTube channel under a different name other than mine? The answer to that is yes, right? Okay, I'm a doctor and we'll be creating health content. Yep, I totally understand that. Okay, so I was going to create a simple product for earning extra cash, a very different niche that I don't want my professional self to be identified with. Got it, totally. Yes, so what you're going to do now, it used to be for a while that YouTube really wanted you to be identified, right? That is no longer the case, right? So what you can do is you're going to come here to YouTube. You're going to have your already existing channel. You're going to come to your Creator Studio. And if you look here, you can see there, and I don't know if I can size that up for you some. If I go to my Creator Studio, does everybody see where that button says add account? Okay, does everybody see where that button says add account right here? Right, so if you see the add account button inside of YouTube, in particular you, Dane, please put the number 3 in the question box. Okay, great. So all you're going to do here is you're going to click add account. And then, of course, you're going to log in with whatever email address that you want to sign up with, right? So you're going to sign up with that email address so that you can then set up a new Gmail. I mean, a new YouTube account, right? Pretty much that simple. And you can set up that YouTube account in any way that you want to have it, so that it does not reflect your identity. Okay, so Erica's question is actually an excellent question, and I'm gonna post this question right here. And because let's just put that on one of the slides here, Erica, if you don't mind. I'm going to duplicate that slide, and we're just going to write in Erica's question here. Okay, so okay, so how do you do the REAP PLR quickly? And there are I do have courses on that, but let's talk about that. And I guess the question is always going to be, who do you want to sell to, right? Who do you want to sell to? So if you want to sell to other internet marketers, right? If you want to sell to other internet marketers, then really and truly, you're probably looking at the very best way to kind of redo a course. And when I redo videos, right? And I haven't redone a lot of videos in a long time. Typically, what I would do is I would then, okay, quickly is the operative word here, Erica, because the best thing to do, and actually the fastest way, is going to be for you to take your own notes and for you to record your own videos if you want to redo it. Now, if you're redoing videos, if you're redoing, let's say, text in some way, right? Outsourcing that is fairly cheap, right? So if you had to redo text, you could outsource the rewriting of a book, right? That's a fairly cheap process. You can get that done in some cases if it's short enough on Fiverr. In other cases, you can have it done on Elance or Freelancer. But in general, I typically do all of my, if I do PLR, if I redo it all myself. And all I really do here, Erica, is I take my own notes and I re-record it. And what I try to do when I redo PLR is I try to contextualize it. So in other words, I would never repeat something that somebody said just because I'm probably gonna put my own spin on it, right? And so I try to put my own spin on anything that I do, even if I learned something from somebody else. I try to incorporate, and I will typically, Erica, I will even say, right, in my re-recording, well, hey, I picked this up from Seth Godin, or I got this from Sean Mize, or I got this from from this person. And sometimes that's faster if you're willing to just kind of cite this, right, that you picked up an idea from somebody else, but that you're going to be putting your own spin on anyway, right? So that's really, if I had to redo it, that is how I would do it. Right? Does that help you? Does that help you, Erica? Yes, Scott. Actually, yeah. If you use a pen name on eBay on YouTube, I think that would be appropriate. So yeah, I would just create a new channel, and I would use a pen name or something of that sort. Now, my question, Dane, is: are you planning to appear on these videos, or are you going to do screencast videos? So that's my next question. Are you going to appear on the videos, or are you going to do are you going to do screencast? Okay, you know what, Dr. Faye? Yeah, you know what? Actually, I think I did that, Dr. Faye, in a I think I did that in the last call I did. I think I did that in the last GTP integration training call I did. Right? I remember your question specifically. I think I covered that in that call. Right. Okay. So let's see. Okay. So Dr. Faye, if you look at that last, I think if you look at my last video on my channel on the integration training, I covered exactly that. Okay, so Ty's question is, any thoughts on integrating WFP with SMS? Yeah, you know what? We have given that some thought, and I honestly don't know where we are on doing that. We haven't really seen. We've had some people mention it as a feature request. We haven't really yet seen that we're gonna do it soon, to be honest. But it's something that we'll take a look at again. I mean, not a lot of people have asked about it, and so I guess that's really why we haven't really taken that part of it any farther. Right? Because I understand exactly what you mean by integrating it with Twilio. Okay, yeah. So Eric is asking, does it take me hours, weeks, or months to redo PLR? I can redo a PLR course in a week, and that's working about 2 hours a day. So if I put in 2 hours a day, and in general, I just kind of try to focus on trying to cover 2 basic ideas or 2 videos in a day, right? So if you think about, you're going to create about an hour of content total, then in general, I can be finished redoing a PLR course in about a week if I write my own ideas and then re-record the videos, right? Because and now it's fair to say though, Erica, though, I've been at this a little while, right? Okay, yeah, I've been at this a little while, but if you are a if you are a speaker, right? If you, when you get up in front of people or you get in front of your computer screen and you can kind of go for it, then it's going to be easy. You could do an even shorter period of time than that, right? So and you might find that your challenge might be to cut stuff out, not be yes, okay. All right. Okay, so Dane is saying you like to appear on your health videos, but you probably not for the extra cash videos. Perfect. Okay, so yeah, so if you're gonna do Camtasia videos for those videos, Dane, I think that can work. So yeah, you can just do screen share videos, Camtasia videos for your channel, for the extra cash channel. Yep. And just set up a different channel, just like the one I showed you. Okay, so Damon is asking, how long should the videos be in a course? I think you should have about a total of, okay, here's the ideal, right? And I haven't done this, but I think you should try to shoot for 12 videos of 5 minutes apiece. 12 videos, no longer than 5 minutes. Okay, so that's the rule of thumb. You have an hour of content. Your videos are no longer than 5 minutes. Now, in general, it could, it's going to vary. I mean, you're going to get into some subjects are going to go short. But in general, I think you should deliver 1 hour of content and that you want to do that in 12 videos. 2 of those videos are going to be intro and conclusion. Intro and conclusion. And so you should, in general, have about 10 videos of content. Okay, Mel, okay, Mel, you need to finish your question. Okay, so Mel's question is, would the NCIS PLR be good to promote as if you made them into videos and sold them on GTP? Answer to that is yes. Yep, I would make a totally unique course. If you redo those videos and you put it on a course at GTP and sell that as a course, I think that's a fantastic idea. And in fact, that is the way I would do it. Yep, definitely. I think that's a great idea. Okay, so Erica's question is, for that 1 hour of content, what are you selling that for? Okay, great question. Okay, so there are 2 ways to sell information, right? Two ways to sell information. One, you can teach people how to do one specific thing, right? You can go inside of a niche, you can teach somebody how to do something specific, or you can give them something that they can use to sell, right? So if you're talking about selling information, I'm not talking about software, I'm not talking about affiliate marketing, I'm talking about strictly selling information. If you are selling information, you can either sell me information that I can use in my business, right? Or you can teach me how to do something, right? So I can, regardless, you still should be talking about units of an hour, in my opinion, right? That's the I think that's the least common denominator. You should sell an hour of content when you sell a product. That's Charles's opinion, right? There are probably other marketers who disagree with that. But if I were going to buy, unless what you're telling me is like something that's super secret and something that is based on a result you got, right? Now that's another thing, and I was going to talk about that later on, but let's say that you're teaching me how to get a result that you got, right? That not everybody knows. If that doesn't take you an hour, I think that's fine, right? I think that's fine. But if you're teaching people something that may have been taught before or is something that's not new, I think you should deliver a minimum of an hour of content, and that's whether or not that's the introduction and conclusion is also extra. So an hour within those 10 videos. I know I said 12 videos in 5 minutes, but I think I would say you should be giving people an hour's worth of instruction, and you should have an introduction and conclusion. Okay, good question. All right, any other questions? These are all great questions. Okay, let me see if I missed any here. Okay, so it depends, Mel. Okay, it depends. In general, right? In general, it depends on the market, right? It depends on the market. Now, on Tuesday, right? On Tuesday and Wednesday of this week, I'm going to be in Harrisburg. I'm also going to be in York, PA. I'm going to be teaching a free class on self-publication. And I'm going to sell the people who are in that class at the end. I'm going to sell them an information product, right? I'm going to sell them an information product. So the question then is, and I hope I can kind of make this clear. I'm going to kind of give it to you the way it is in my brain. I would not sell them that course at the same price that I sell it to you for. I'm going to sell it to you for less because you are an internet marketer, right? And internet marketers, in my opinion, right? And I put that in my email today. It's like I sell to you at wholesale. This is the way I look at it. I sell to you at wholesale because we're both internet marketers, right? So I sell to you at wholesale. When I go to York and I go into Harrisburg, I'm going to sell at full value, right? So the same thing that I might sell to you for $9 or $17 because you're an internet marketer, I'm going to be selling in that room at $77 and $97, right? That's sort of how I look at that, right? Because the information has value. The only reason the information doesn't have that kind of value, it would be hard for you to see that same level of value in some cases, right? Because you are another internet marketer. Now, right now, the 30-day challenge is at $97. That's the right price for that. It's 17 hours of content showing people the entire context of internet marketing. 17 hours. The right price for that is $97. Now, I launched that at $17 to people who were already familiar with me in my community because, again, that's the wholesale price. But at the launch is over, and sometimes I'll run a special for that course, but the right price for that course is $97. It is. It's really more than that. And so what you have to do is you have to kind of value the information for the people you're going to be selling it to. Now, people who are driving into York and Harrisburg, I'm going to teach them for 3 hours on self-publication. Once that is over, I will have built up the value of self-publication, and $97 is not going to be a lot to ask you. I'd rather walk out the door than sell them that course, my Entrepreneur Mandate course. I'd rather walk out the door with no sales rather than sell that course to them for $9 or $17. That's the truth. So the value to me at the full value price is minimum $97. But I would not sell it to an internet marketer for that because, again, you and I are internet marketers. I look at that many times as selling wholesale. Now, some marketers look at asking other marketers for the full value, and they're ready to walk away from a sale until they get the amount. Again, it's a business model thing. It's a business decision. Right? So I hope that kind of helps you in terms of how I process that. In terms of price, what would I sell that for? Yeah, NCIS is I'll be quite honest with you, right? I wished I created it myself. I was jealous when Paul Counts came up with that. I was jealous. I was really jealous. I wanted to do that myself. I still may do it, right? I've seen some things in some ways that I would do that, that he did not. Like, I really want to spend a little bit more time with HTML and teach people a little more basics. I want to spend some time and teach people a few more basics in terms of Photoshop. And again, not that Photoshop and HTML are like the end all be all. It's just you have to know it. Even if you choose not to use Photoshop, you need to know a little HTML. Right? It just helps you. And so I still want to do that. I still want to do a course like NCIS, but I want to spend more time with HTML. I want to spend more time with graphics and Photoshop. But it's a great course, no doubt. Ty, I agree. Yeah, Scott, and I think, as I said, it can be done. You could take NCIS and you could turn it into something for Dane. Would you agree? Now, you tell me if you agree with this. If I were going to teach, I mean, I can't remember what kind of doctor you are, but I think you do something in chiropractors, right? So I think you do something in that area. I could turn some of that into internet marketing for chiropractors. I could turn something into internet marketers for accountants, right? So there are a lot of different ways you could spin NCIS. Well, you can always, Dane, just create a new account, right? With YouTube. And what you can do is if you already have a website, right? If you have a WordPress website, you can just go into your cPanel, right? I think I've got something here. You can just go into your cPanel, and I hope I still have this thing. No, okay, I don't even have that thing anymore. Okay, I can go into, excuse me, JV with Charles.net, and then I can cPanel this, go into cPanel, then I hope my, I don't know if my, I don't know. Let's see if I can find another one of my websites. Let's try GameMindshare.com. cPanel. I'm going to come off screen so I can just kind of pull this up here, guys. And then I'm going to jump in here so I can show you how to do this. All right, so just go into your cPanel, right? And you go into email accounts. And then just create yourself a new email, right? Create a new email, right? Just go right into cPanel, simple as that, create a new email, and then you're golden, right? Just use that email for your new account, right? Pretty much just that way. So I don't get new Gmail accounts. I mean, Dana, I think they're updated. I think they're updated. Not much though. They did a little updating, but not much. Not much. I think you could take the content you have and go with it. And I think you know enough. I think you know enough to update it, right? So even if you were to take their content and you start to redo it, from what I've seen, you know, Dana, you probably know enough to redo it. That's my opinion. Okay, yeah. So Damon is asking, when you create a course, are you setting it up for them to take each day? You could do that, right? You could do that. You could. Let's see. Do I have that up here? Where's my GTP? My GTP. Now, when I set up my course, I could, when I add course content, I could make it so that a lesson shows after a certain number of days, right? So I could say this lesson is going to show up after 1 day. Then I can make it so that lesson 2 shows up after 2 days. I can make it so lesson 3 shows up after 3 days. So I can make it so that they get one piece of the course every day. You could, now personally, that would aggravate me as your student. Because I would want you to put it all there. So you can do this. So if the question is, do you have the ability to put GTP, and do you have the ability to set it up so they take the class every day? Yes. But it would drive me crazy. So I would want you to put everything in there, at least put a week in there at a time. Right. So maybe everybody else can weigh in on that. So guys, just for Damon's sake, just weigh in there. So would you rather, if you would rather have a course where you got the content 1 day at a time, please put the number 1. If you would like to have a course where you got the content some at a time, put the number 2. And so Damon, you'll be able to get some real feedback right here. Everybody's going to weigh in. So guys, just weigh in on that if you could on this question. You want to get, if you'd rather have it 1 day at a time, because that would help you to discipline yourself, please put the number 1. If you'd rather get it some at a time, maybe a week at a time, or get it all up front, put the number 2. So you'll be able to get some real feedback. Okay, because you got some people who say 1. All right, great question. appreciate your question there. Okay, any other questions? Okay, great question, Mel. So Mel's question is, Facebook generally doesn't like network marketers. How would you promote an MLM product, example, brain supplement or skincare product, without sending people to a website? Okay, great question. Would I send people to Webinar Fusion Pro and use the offer option? And the answer to that is yes. What I would do in Webinar Fusion Pro is I would, let's see, do I still have Webinar Fusion Pro up here? Yeah. Okay, what I would do is I would send people either to an automated webinar. And when you set up an automated webinar in Webinar Fusion Pro, let's see, I'm gonna save this. When you set up an automated webinar in Webinar Fusion Pro, you have what's called the anytime link. And the anytime link, and that's now, in order to use the anytime link, you do have to have the automated, right? You do have to have the upgrade. You got to have the automated. I'll put that in here. So the regular version, you'll need the enterprise version of Webinar Fusion Pro, but you'll also need the automated. In order to do this, I'll put that in the window. You would take this anytime link, and then everybody who gets that link, the webinar is actually going to start in 14 seconds, right? And so doesn't need the opt-in. It's just going to give the webinar. The webinar is going to play automated, and then your offer is going to pop up at some point, right? So yeah. Any recommended resources on building a tribe? Yeah, I know a couple. One would be the book Tribes by Seth Godin, right? That was a great book, Tribes by Seth Godin, right? Tribes, Seth Godin. Another guy who, and he actually did, I don't know if you had a chance to go to the Bestsellers Summit, right? Probably by one of the best sessions in the Bestseller Summit was done by a guy named Colin Theriault. Right? And Colin Theriault did a session on building a tribe, and he's got this tribe on Facebook called the Cult of Copy. Now, it's fair to say that he's an expert in copywriting. So people are going to be attracted to that group because of him. But he built the tribe, and he discussed something in the Bestseller Summit that I thought was really genius, right? In terms of building a tribe. He talked about leading from the middle. So let's say that you are not an expert yet, but what you are doing is you are getting there, and you are taking a group with you, leading them forward, and they're following you not because you are the end all be all in terms of knowledge, but you're taking them forward in terms of you're moving just a little bit ahead of them. Now there's a discussion of that in the book called .com Secrets. .com Secrets by Russell Brunson. I think everybody's got that book. And there's another book that I can't remember. What else would I tell you to read about starting a tribe? I think that's a good start, right? I think that's a good start. If you read Tribes by Seth Godin, and you did If again, now I know a lot of you all got the Bestseller Summit, and I still need to do a wrap up of that. So I think I'm going to be doing a wrap up with those of the folks who got the Bestseller Summit, and like I said, one of the really good sessions was Colin Terrio, and that whole concept of leading from the middle and not necessarily having to be, you know, the big guru that knows everything and was there first. You can actually get there second or third or fourth or 20th if you're willing to put yourself out there and lead from the middle. Great concept. Right. Okay. So am I familiar with Run Click for Shell for G plus Hangouts? You got there. It's WFP. Run Click program allows pre-scheduled webinars with that being getting ready to work with the Genius Suite. Well, in some ways, yeah. It's not going to be integrated with what we've got coming down the line, right? So we've got some integrations coming. And look, here's the thing. Here's the deal. It's always a business decision. Some of the integrations, do you have to have them? I would say no. We're going to make it so that it's nice to have, right? So one of the things that we've got, and I can't talk a lot about the next product because it's unique. But what I will say is that we're going to have integrations with Webinar Fusion Pro, right? And we're going to have integrations with some of the automated stuff. So in terms of being able to get more customers, do you have to have it? I would say, can you use what you have? Yes. Right. So I think that's your question. Will you be able to live without it? Will your business function without it? Yes. You know, it's my job though to make it so that, you know, it's hard to resist. So yeah. All right. Any other questions? Any other questions? Okay. What would be a good price to charge people if you wanted to do a book mastermind group every week? Think and Grow Rich using WFP and sending it to Genius Trainer Pro. Okay, again, I'm going to reflect a little bias here, and this has just been my experience. If you do it online, you want to be cognizant of other courses that are being sold at that price, because once you start low, you got to stay low, right? So if you're gonna price it up, right, you have to be ready to justify the price. And, you know, my friend Dwayne says this, I believe it, I say it too, is you need to be able to produce 10 times the value. And I like to add to that you need to be able to demonstrate a proven result. If you have a proven result, I've gotten this result 1 time, 2 times, 3 times, I know it works, that'll sell fast. If you're able to say, I got this result 1 time, 2 times, 3 times, and Scott also got this result using my system 1 time, 2 times, 3 times, you're going to sell them really fast. And you're going to be able to charge more. You'll be able to charge more now, and people are going to come through the door. Now, the further removed from that you are, the slower people are going to be to respond to the value they're going to get. So if you want people to buy a big value product, you want them to buy it now, here's what you got to have. You got to have, I've done this over and over and over again, right? And gotten this result. This same person used my system. They did it over and over and over again. And then they got these results. And those are your testimonials, right? That's your social proof. And so you've got proof on the one hand that it works. You have social proof that it works with other people. And so that's one of your 12 copywriting elements that makes people buy regardless of what the price is. Because then you just trying to show people, hey, this is going to change your life. I can prove it to you. Now, so you want numbers. I'm guessing you want numbers. So if you want to do a book mastermind every week, a book mastermind group. Now, here's my question to you, and I'm going to be for real with you, right? I've done membership sites and masterminds, right? And I don't know, if you're married, kiss your wife, kids, and spouse goodbye. When you do a membership site, if you're going to be present all the time, because it's not just when you do a mastermind, it's not just the hour for your webinar. When you do a mastermind with people expecting you to be there, you got to do prep time. You got to answer questions. You got to do support. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I'm just saying you got to understand what that means, and you have to charge accordingly. Because if you are physically present anywhere, this is where. How many of you all, how many of you all took economics? Right? How many of you all took economics? And they talked about the concept of what is it? Opportunity cost. Opportunity cost. What does opportunity cost means? It means that if I have to be present with you, what does that mean? That means I can't be present someplace else. So that means then if I have to be present with you, I can't be doing something else that's going to make me money, nor can I be with my family. So I have to charge you accordingly. That's why coaching is supposed to be high priced, because I have to be there with you. Right. And if it's and this is it was the hardest thing for me to understand that, because I first started internet marketing. I said, I'm just going to charge $97 for some coaching. I'm just going to charge $250. And I remember somebody telling me, you're a fool if you do it. Right. That's harsh language. I mean, you don't call anybody a fool, but somebody said that to me. And I said, what are you talking about? They said, you're not charging enough. And I know that's not in your brain right now. That might not be in your brain if you haven't made a lot of sales. It has nothing to do with making a lot of sales. It has everything to do with opportunity costs. Because if you have to be present with me, you can't be present with somebody else. You can't be doing something else that's going to make you money. You have to charge accordingly, and you need to be able to walk away from a coaching deal if you're not going to make enough money. You need to be willing to walk away, not making a coaching sale, rather than undercharging, because you're cheating the people that you need to be with, and you're cheating yourself because you figure out some way to generate more income. Right? If you undersell coaching. So I'm just saying to you, you need to have a sense that you've already got this tribe, and they're begging you, please. See, this is it's different from selling a mastermind. It's kind of like the mastermind comes when you have these people and they're saying to you, can you please do this? We need you to do this. And so you say, okay, I'll do this, but this is what it's going to cost. As opposed to coming to the market with something, you know what I mean? So you want to have that following already, and you want to know that they're going to come through the door, right? And here's the other thing too. And I didn't. Well, okay, I'm not gonna get into that, but okay, so that's where I'll leave it. Does that help? I know I didn't give you really numbers. I'll say that I have charged for a mastermind, right? I've charged $97. If I know I'm going to have 10 people in it, it's worth it. I have charged for coaching $250, and it was not worth it. Right? I've charged $250 for a coaching session, and I'll tell you what, it wasn't worth it. And it wasn't worth it because the person wasn't worth it. It wasn't worth it because I think I'm a big shot. It wasn't worth it because I could have been doing something that made me more money. Oh yeah, that I have these fluorescent lights that are all over the place, and they're falling for some reason. I don't know. I'm not a handyman, as you can tell. I am not a handyman, so Great question. All right, any other questions? Yeah, and I do I do want to spend some time on branding. I didn't have a chance to do it tonight. Okay, so how long is for a front end PDF? How long is too long? I think when you're starting to get over 80 pages in 14 font, I think you know, you're probably talking about starting to look at doing an upsell. Helen, are you thinking about only delivering the PDF? Now, if the PDF is going to have screenshots as for a specific result of something that's nobody else knows, I think you need to do enough to walk somebody through the process of getting the result. Now, if you're teaching a subject, you know, I think 50, 60, 70 pages of reasonable font size is about right. Again, everything's going to vary, but I think the thing to think about is if you're selling the front end and the front end is designed to teach me a specific result, how to teach your baby to sleep through the night. Doesn't matter how long that is, right? You need to spend as much time with all the diagrams I need in order to walk through the process of how to get my baby to sleep through the night. If you're teaching me about babies, right? You're teaching me about babies, then it's up to you, you know? Okay, so if you're talking about a specific PDF to resolve a specific pain point, and you do upsell videos, you got to do as much as it takes. So what you have to start, you have to take me from knowing nothing. For knowing nothing about, you can't assume I know anything about your subject, right? And that's the hard part. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work, and so you may want to consider buying PLR for the basics. Right? That's why you buy the PLR, because you got to bring people up to your solution. So you get some PLR to teach them the basics, to bring them up to your solution. And then that's where you do your teaching. And you take them the rest of the way. But if your PDF is going to give me a specific result, you got to take me as if I know nothing, absolutely nothing, and take me all the way to the end. Right? It's a great question. And then doing the videos as the upsell. Perfect. I think that's perfect. And I would deliver the upsell videos through GTP if they wanted them. Okay, great question. Well, okay, so in terms of the coaching, like at 500, yeah, you're not going to have any tire kickers, right? Yeah, 500 is about the rate at which either somebody's serious or they're not. And believe it or not, the time it's going to take for you to prepare for the call, you could actually do something that'll make you $500. So I think that makes it worth your time to, even if all your coaching is how to set up a website, right? That's worth, if you got to walk somebody from not knowing how to get a domain name all the way up to getting their WordPress website set up, I don't care if they can go to Elance and get somebody to do it for them. I don't care about that. Then they need to go to Elance and get somebody then. But if you're going to coach them through it, you're going to walk them through it, I think you got to start someplace up around that area, because the opportunity cost of that is just, you could do something else. Okay. Any other questions? Can you do what with YouTube? Are you saying, can you, when you say can it work with YouTube, you mean can you deliver videos as a product? YouTube videos, you can. They'd have to be unlisted. These days, I don't like streaming. Could you get help from YouTube? I wouldn't put it in my product though. I would still buy PLR. I would not send them to YouTube, because you don't want to send your customer in your product to YouTube. I mean, I've done that. I don't really think it was smart for me to do that. I've done that in the past. I think it's one thing if you're training people and you say, yeah, you know what, here's my stuff, it's on YouTube. I think that once they buy a product from you, you're supposed to be trying to eliminate their confusion, right? You're supposed to be trying to narrow down their options. Your goal in creating a product is, see, people have already gone to Google. They have already fought through trying to figure out who to trust. They decided they trust you. They paid you. And so now you don't want to send them to YouTube and to Google, in my opinion. You don't need to be sending them to the internet. So in my opinion, you should buy them the help they need and buy it through PLR. And if you have to recreate the PLR, personally, I think you should recreate it. I know it's more work, but you could give it to them, right? You could say, you know what, I don't have time to teach you on how to build a WordPress website. I do have this course that you can, if you don't know about building a WordPress website, here's a course for you. And it's got all the steps and instructions in here. I'm going to start at this point where we're going to talk about how to do X, Y, Z, whatever your course is about. Personally, I think you should do those videos over and then add that to your course. Even though it's more work, I think that's what you should do. But I do not think under any stretch of imagination you should be sending somebody to YouTube. Oh, could you make money about creating a website when there's YouTube? Absolutely. Because look, not everybody, okay. I know, let's take my mom. Okay, my mom's 80. My wife's mom, they're in the 70s or 80s. They like to be on the internet, right? And they don't want to look at YouTube, right? They don't want to go trying to figure out what the right video is. There are a lot of people who are like that. And so that actually, in my opinion, that plays to your favor. And here's the example I always use. A couple years back, I had problems with my gallbladder, right? And the night that I had a gallbladder attack, if I had $1 million in my pocket and you knew how to solve it, I would have given it all to you, right? So here's what I did. I went looking on the internet to try to figure out, okay, what can you do right now to get this gallstone out? And what do you think I found on YouTube and Google? Absolutely everything. Everything. It was overwhelming. So here I was. My gallbladder is about to come out of my side. I go to the internet where you're supposed to be able to find a reliable answer from somebody, and everybody's got an answer, right? So there are 10,000 answers. So now, so basically, if I had known one trustworthy person that had a course on how to deal with your gallbladder, I would have paid them. And that's the way this works. is when people have pain, it doesn't matter how much, the fact that there's too much information on YouTube plays to your favor, right? And it plays to your favor. And here's a great point by Helen. Here's a great point by by Helen. I mean, people can do that, but when you get sent to YouTube, how many of you have ever gone down a YouTube hole and don't don't try to be high and mighty like you never did, right? You go to YouTube and you are the chances are really high you are going in a hole. Right? And you go there and you'll see something else. Say, oh, you know what? I want to learn about this. Oh, look at this. Right? So yeah, right. So the fact that there's YouTube, that plays to your favor, in my opinion. Right? Everybody's got an answer, but people need a reliable answer. And if you give them a reliable answer that gives them the result, guess what? They'll come back and buy something for you again. Right? The key is to be reliable. It's a great question. Great question. Okay, any other questions? I try to make these, I don't shorten these. All my other webinars, I try to keep them within 30 to 45 minutes, but I just want to make sure that I do these Q&As so that I can answer as many questions as I can. So, if you guys don't have any other questions, then that's going to be it for the night. I will say that let's see, tonight at midnight Pacific Standard Time, if you didn't get the NCIS bonus and just wanted to buy it outright, now it's still available. I think you can get it. I'm going to put in here Genius and PLR, and it is. And you need to use the code 20 off. Now that code goes away tonight at midnight Pacific Standard Time. So if you're getting the course, get it tonight so you don't have to pay $37 for it. Again, $37 for it is the right price. If the launch price or whatever it is, a lot of people got it free because they bought NCIS, which again, I think is a fantastic. I think everybody who got NCIS understands NCIS is a fantastic. You got a great course. I don't like to promote a lot of stuff, but I really was confident about that. I really was confident about that. I know Paul is a good man and he's a great teacher. So, okay, everybody. Well, thank you very much, everybody. Good to see you all, and we will get into some other stuff next week. Have a great night and a pleasant my webinar schedule. Okay, my webinar schedule is, Erica, on Tuesday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I do the PLR show. On Wednesday at 9, I do the integration call. I do the Genius technical call, integration training. Now on Mondays at 7, those of you all who are part of the Genius community, Monday at 7 p.m., it's Dwayne and myself, right? And we talk about sales, right? We talk all about sales. So so that's always a lot of fun. I don't talk a lot on those calls because I talk twice a week. Dwayne can talk then. so I try not to talk a lot on those calls. All right, everybody. Well, thank you very much for being here. Hope this was helpful for you. Have a great night, great weekend, and a pleasant tomorrow. Take care.